I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I'd like to welcome Reina Takahara to the show. Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello, I am Reina Takahara. I am a Neko-themed VTuber who is also the Empress of the Nantunan Empire. And I have been streaming for around 6 months. It's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. 6 months. Has it gone like you want? Are you where you want to be right now with the channel?
To be honest, I've never thought I'll get as far as I have. I have around 538 followers, which is way more than I thought I'd ever have.
Whoa, that's pretty good for 6 months.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about this is they're coming back for you. I mean, they're not just coming back you realize that you get that feeling, that kind of wind beneath your wings, that these folks enjoy being around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And my chat loves to talk to me whenever we're streaming. I always try to get to know some of them since I'm still small enough to where I can get to know my chat. They can get to know me. I can talk to them a little bit more personal level at times.
Yeah. And when did you start noticing the numbers starting to climb, or were you paying attention?
So at first I was, and I give advice to new VTubers too. Don't pay attention to the numbers so much, because if you focus on the numbers, you'll obsess about it, and it will affect your you while streaming. So I started paying attention probably soon after I hit probably 200.
Yeah.
And then I got affiliate soon after.
Yeah. I mean, so I got to ask you, what does that mean to get that affiliate?
Essentially, currently what it does is you're able to get subscribers, which they'll pay subscriptions. You'll get what they call bits, is like money that they can give you, and you get ad revenue. Essentially, that's what that means, and monetized.
Yeah, and it basically means you're hired.
Yeah, essentially, well, affiliated.
Yeah, you get to hire yourself to be eligible to make. It doesn't guarantee you're going to be rolling in dough, but
yeah,
at least you might be able to supersize your fries every month.
Well, I started streaming. So I used to watch VTubers all the time. I remember Kazuna Ai was the first one that I knew about way back, like 2018.
Yeah.
And ever since, especially during when everything was shut down, VTubers were super huge then.
Yeah.
I started watching them. They helped me through hard times, just by me being there, the positive attitudes, how happy they were a lot. So when the opportunity arose for me to become a VTuber, I got a laptop. And I got one of those pre-made models that were free.
Yeah.
I got one of those, and I started streaming.
Yeah.
I started out with reaction content, so I would watch ghost videos and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would automatically. I would be screaming every 5 seconds, I'm afraid. me and ghosts. I have actually seen a ghost, I believe, but it was far away, and I knew it wasn't, going to do anything other than walk around the radio station. But going into other people's houses and looking for stuff that doesn't want you to be there, that doesn't sound like a good thing.
Well, yeah, especially since when you hear the stories of people having ghosts follow them home.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah.
It's whether you believe it or not, it's just something I would not go and try to actively look for it.
Yeah, I've got plenty of things to make my skin crawl. I don't need anything more. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
So you start off with kind of the reaction videos, and where'd you go from there?
So I started playing horror games like Outlast, Resident Evil, and things along those lines. And I would play them and just talk whenever someone was. But I also took advice from Iron Mouse, who is the biggest VTuber.
Oh yeah.
So you had basically a streamer who gave advice to newer VTubers, and the advice he gave everybody was just keep talking even if you don't think anyone's there.
Yeah, it's always good because it does a couple of things for you, and I can say this from the radio side of things. and I did that for 35 years, so I got a little bit of of street cred when it comes to that, I guess. But you don't always know who's out there, and that might be the person who tells the person who tells the person who tells 10 people who tells, you don't know when that one person is going to be there. And you always put out the same type of effort for, 10 people as you would for 100 people, for 1,000 people.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to put yourself in bad habits either. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And these folks are coming here. They bought the ticket for you. Um, yeah,
Essentially.
yeah. And the least you can do is, give them a show.
Oh yeah. That's what I try to do. Always try to keep talking, keep yapping,
Yeah, yeah,
and keep trying to like be positive about things.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people tend to think that it's all sunshine and rainbows when streaming, but sometimes some people may act happy on camera and then off stream it may be a little hard. So you never know
right.
how people are.
Yeah. And for some people, it's an escape one way or the other. Whether
Yes.
yeah, they're whether it's escape from just a more mundane, boring thing, or an escape from something a lot worse. Um, Here they get the chance to spread their wings a little bit and be themselves more than they can in real life. In many
Yeah, and I think
ways.
that's the wonderful thing about VTubing.
Yeah, yeah. And while there are certainly pockets of the VTuber sphere right now that are not accepting and welcoming, and people can find those if they really want to. I don't know why you would, but most of the time I found that people are pretty accepting. Um,
Yes, for the most part, at
yeah,
least from my experience.
yeah.
Um, yeah, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
really, I agree with you completely, um, and you find people who maybe are going down almost the same path you are.
Yeah. I've always felt like I've never once really felt in the VTuber space that anyone is like being rude. I mean, anything like that. I feel like for the most part, VTubers are very accepting people.
Hmm.
Um, and there's a lot of like people that I've talked to that are very accepting. Like my friend Ani, who was in a previous interview, he was one of my first friends.
Yeah,
He does artwork and he also plays games with me
yeah,
as well.
yeah. It's those people who are talented at stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get mad at who you are. I'm going to get mad at what you can do.
Oh, exactly.
That's just jealousy. That's common.
Yeah. I
It's
have seen some stuff like that. Like, and like with any entertainment industry, sometimes in your chat, you'll have people that come to like cause issues and stuff. I kind of just learned to ignore them.
hmm
But I know it's very hard because depending on what's said, it can get really difficult to try and avoid it. But
yeah,
over time, you'll learn how to deal with them
yeah,
a lot more
yeah. It's different.
discreetly.
It's different every time too. I mean, my first reaction coming from sports talk radio back in the day is to put on a hobnail boot and step on them. But it doesn't always work on the internet because they're a lot slimier than that, and they get around you and do other things. Um, it's it has to be handled with kid gloves and in the right way. And for you,
Yeah.
I watch you guys do this, and you folks, and I'm how cool and collected that you VTubers are sometimes in these situations. Um,
Yeah, a
uh,
lot of us are, and I think that comes of when the longer you do content creation as a whole,
mhm.
you'll start to learn how to do it. But for some people, it is very hard, and I can admit sometimes I was sometimes close to like getting upset,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kind of remembered, you know what, that's what they want, so you
Yeah,
just kind of like ignore them or just like press the kick button.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. You can kick them, get rid of them, and sometimes they'll just go away on their own and find somebody else to pick on. Um,
Yeah,
Retribution is not going to happen, and just they're just going to pot shot at you and
yeah,
go move on from there. That's pretty much the only thing you can
exactly.
do with it. But the good stuff that you've been getting from streaming, what has been your favorite part of it so far?
When people come on my chat and just like say like that whenever I watch his streams, one person I remember said they never watched the VTuber before,
Yeah.
and they came in. They said, "Well, you're the first one I've watched, and I really find you to be really nice and you're really chill vibes. And I think I'll stick around for a while." And it's like I make people happy, and that's my job. I
Yeah.
believe as a VTuber, and I feel happy that I can do that.
E-
Um.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have that feedback. Sometimes you get it right away. Sometimes you don't realize that you're getting it, and when you have lurkers that aren't very open in chat, or maybe don't even say anything. But if you've got double digit, triple digit people listening to you being there, not everybody's going to be in chat, and they're comfortable enough with you to keep you around for however long they have the computer on. That means a lot, really.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have told me that whenever they look in streams, it's not that they're not paying attention. Sometimes they're doing something and they want something in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So I think lurkers are still very important to have in your chat because I've had people that have lurked for like a couple weeks and then just started talking, and then we've been talking on and off. They
Yeah,
just want to feel comfortable.
yeah. It's a big thing for a lot of people to even just make that first step, because we've seen people who are VTubers that are introverts off the offline, or very much
Yeah,
extroverts offline. But the people who are listening, they have the same type of spectrum they're coming from. They could be people who are extremely shy and don't necessarily want to come on and do anything, but they'll support you just by being there.
exactly.
Yeah. So when I tune into one of your streams, what am I watching? What are you going to be doing usually?
So I do two different types of content.
Mm-hmm.
I do like more wholesome, safe for work stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and every now and then I have the more like 18 plus stuff. So I do both.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep a good balance between the two.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
started out as a mother's theme VTuber,
Mm.
so like there's still people to this day that will come into my chat and kind of do the whole like bit where they're like, "Hey mom, mama, I'm home," kind of things, and I'll just like kind of play into it, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like what I like to do
Yeah.
because it makes them happy.
Yeah. And
And now I've kind of shifted to more girlfriend experience stuff, so I kind of
uh,
like they kind of will talk to me, and I'll kind of talk to them like, "How's your day? What kind of food do you like?"
yeah, it's
I have redeems too, like that.
so tell me, does that is that comfortable for you to do that? Or did it take a while for you to be comfortable doing that?
So for me, it took a bit
Mm.
because I used to watch a lot of themed VTubers that would do the similar thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I would think it's easy. It's not
Mm.
because I have to 100% of the time stay in character,
Yeah.
which I can do, but it's really hard sometimes. It just takes practice.
Yeah. It's staying in character, but it also, for some people, can be it can be tough to take. You got
Yeah.
to especially when there's. I mean, maybe it's not so bad if you have one person, but if you have several people on at the same time, and that could be really tough to keep up with.
Yes, chat sometimes, depending on the stream and the streamer, chat can be hard to keep up with. Like, there's bigger VTubers like Cinder and all them that have like thousands in their chat.
Yeah.
And you wonder how do they read them all? Well, kind of how that works is you just glance over and just read the first thing you see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like, there's no way you can read all those messages.
Oh no, not when it's scrolling like that. You see the folks with a thousand counts, and you, if you have something to say to them, just throw it in there, and maybe they'll see it, maybe they won't, or
Yeah,
yeah, or use a redeem for something, or you'll pay your $25 to get it in a color that might catch their eye. Um,
yeah,
but that's one thing. But still, it becomes a part where if you're something like that, I would think would be very one to one ish, very personal to me. I would have a tough time doing it. Um, especially someone I didn't know. You don't know who's
yeah.
on the other end.
It is kind of interesting how the dynamic works.
Well,
Um, yeah. Let's talk on a little bit about the content. I
yeah,
do play a lot of different types of games.
yeah.
Well,
Like what?
so since I do variety streaming, I'll play anything and everything. I've been playing a JRPG, Atelier, Ryza. I've been playing Repo, Lethal Company. I've jumped around to like even racing games with my friend, even though I'm not into them.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's my friend, I really want to like help him out.
Mm-hmm.
I play anything really. Funny thing about me is before I became a VTuber, I used to be on the esports scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you were
I
a
used to be
pro.
kind of.
Yeah.
I was on one of the smaller esports teams, so I kind of had to like practice and play one game all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and it got monotonous for me, so I kind of after a while I quit, and that's why like when I stream games, I don't always like stay to one game or one specific title. I have to like bounce around, kind of feel what I vibe with, what my community vibes with.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't want if it gets boring to you as the presenter and the host, it's going to be boring to it's going to show, and the audience is going to catch on that pretty quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, the things that for folks who are VTubers who obviously watch other VTubers, if you notice it on another VTuber, you're that audience, and you start doing it yourself, they're going to notice too. They're consumers just like you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why I tell people, like both newer and other VTubers, and even just content creators in general, if you're not having fun, your chat won't have fun.
Right.
Because then the vibes drag down, like you said.
Yeah, and the whole thing. If you watch somebody, it's kind of funny to watch somebody go through a game that they realize the first time that it's not very good for them, and they're not enjoying it, and they have fun with it, but they'll go back to it.
Very rarely will I replay a game, but like there's some games like Alan Wake.
Yeah.
It's like a really cool like Stephen King inspired like mystery horror game. I do go back to it sometimes, but I try to play games I have not played because you can get a genuine reaction.
Yeah. Well,
out of it.
I mean, for games that you don't like, I mean, and don't fit, don't say, don't leave it in there like, well, we're going to play this game to the end. No, you're not enjoying it.
If I'm not feeling the vibe, I know my chat ain't feeling the vibe.
Yeah. just let it go. Somebody else can play it and try to figure out what's going on with it. But so for you, what has been the toughest thing of being a VTuber?
I think it's the balance between personal life and streaming life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I stream 7 days a week most of the time.
Wow.
It's because I want to push myself, but like try to find that work-life balance is very hard.
For anything,
especially when I can't. So a little bit about me, I do have a thing called degenerative disc disease.
Okay. Yeah.
Which prevents me from having a normal job. So I kind of do this as a job.
Yeah.
But I do it because I like to do it as well. So I kind of like make sure that I'm available at all times.
Yeah.
I know sometimes it's not a good thing, and I know.
Yeah.
Because my friends will call me up and be like, "You free? You're streaming again?" Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry I can't do it. I'm in the middle of a 7-hour stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, once people got to realize that once you start messing with the discs in the back, and especially if it's degenerative, let's just say you don't want people to mess with the discs in your back.
Yeah, and that's why, like, because I was in a car accident like 5 years ago, and I was crippled for around 2.5 years. And then they did surgery, which basically got rid of the disc that was damaged and put the other back in place. But they did say that your disease is still there, so I kind of like I've accepted it at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just kind of hard, And then VTubing helped me get out of that loop,
Oh, yeah. It's an escape, but it also gives you, it's not just an escape, but it opens a lot of doors for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I get to, it lifts my spirits. It really does. Yeah. Without VTubing, I kind of honestly don't know where I would be.
Yeah. Yeah, but you wouldn't be talking to people on the other side of the planet.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Some of my best friends are from across the way. Yeah. Annie, Nanami, all of them.
Yeah.
Have all been super good friends of mine. My friend Viscount, he's from the UK.
Yeah.
We played horror games together. He's a cool guy. I never would have met any of them if not for being a VTuber.
Do they have that British, Hammer Films British accent and come up behind you in the horror games and try to scare you?
Yeah, he did that once we were playing the game.
Time for collaboration to end. No, please don't. But it's to me it's a lot of fun doing this because I get a chance to talk with people around the world. When I first started in radio was in the 80s. And yes, there was an 80s, and I'm talking the 1980s. Um, and in order for me to talk to somebody from, say, Malaysia, it would be over a landline telephone. It would take probably 20 minutes to hook up through operators, and it would have cost $1 billion thanks to Ma Bell, and it would have sounded like garbage,
Oh yeah.
and I would have been fired.
Nowadays, people kind of underestimate how technology has come across now.
Yeah,
Because, like you said, back even in the 80s, like 40 something years ago,
yeah.
that the technology we have now would be thought as like science fiction.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it would be. It was the stuff of true fiction. I mean, people make fun. Why don't we have video phones? Well, frankly, we do. It's called the internet, and we can do it whenever we want. and
Yeah,
and
you tell
and
someone 40 years ago, they've been like, "You're crazy."
yeah, you know, 40 years ago, 40 years ago, I worked at a radio station. 45 years ago, I guess, and we had a computer in there. This was the second Ronald Reagan election, and we had a computer. There was no internet, and it basically was just an adding machine. That
Like a
was
giant calculator.
yeah, and it wasn't just 8 years later, all of a sudden it becomes a really important part of everything for election coverage and everything else. And then now, of course, you can't do anything without having a computer involved with it. Um,
Oh yeah, the people constantly on their phones and stuff like that.
yeah, and with that comes great things like making the world much smaller, but also comes with some things you got to keep an eye out for. Um, have you had any problems like that, or people trying to sneak in and trying to take things from you?
Um, I've had people trying to take my Facebook account once. Was able to get back.
Uh huh.
I've
Good.
had people try to hack into my Discord before. Um, and stuff along those lines. My Twitter thing wasn't taken. My PSN was almost taken as well. PlayStation Network a long time ago.
Oh
So
boy.
I've absolutely had to deal with things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell people the absolute truth. If they come in and try to steal my credit information, their credit score will go down. Mine will actually go up because someone's actually interested in it. Yeah,
True.
yeah,
My credit's pretty bad too.
yeah. See, by the time they're done, I'll be almost in double digits. We got up to
Yeah, it's like, yes, please take my credit card and pay off the debt.
yes. Please get my credit information. But it's and there are also some people who just are you know like to throw crap in people's Wheaties and mess you up just to mess you up. Um, but you've been able to avoid that for the most part.
For the most part, I have. Um, for me, like the worst part is when not the worst part, but I've had a couple people come in and try to do their little harassment things.
Hmm.
Um, and I've just kind of learned to be like, not really answer them much. Initially, I did. I think that was a mistake I made.
Hmm.
When someone raided me, uh, I call it hate raids. When
Yeah,
someone raids somebody with the sole reason to like mess with them.
yeah,
And the first one I got, I did make a mistake where I just kept talking and engaging. I should not have done that.
yeah,
So now I'm kind of like, if anytime something similar happens, I just kind of do one or two things, and then I just be like, bye.
yeah.
I either block them or ban them, and I know it doesn't do much good because a lot of them are burn accounts anyways.
Right. But still, I mean,
But yeah,
for that moment anyway, they're out of your system, out of your hair.
exactly.
I don't understand people who do that. I don't understand how they have enough energy to do that.
Oh
It's
yeah, I mean, some of these people have like 12 computers going at once.
yeah, I mean, that's a lot of wasted time, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have the energy. See, my sloth and my laziness cancels out my evil more than often than not. So, I mean, two wrongs make a right.
Yeah.
That's too much work. I'll just do it the right way.
Oh, exactly.
The what you've been able to get out of this is quite a bit, though. Obviously, your audience has grown, your followers have grown quite a bit. You said yourself you're well ahead of where you thought you'd be. With that,
Yeah.
have you set your goals higher this year?
My goal for this year is to hit 1,000 followers.
Very,
That's kind of like my goal.
very doable.
Um, yeah, very doable. Um, and also to help my friends or even smaller VTubers through the rating system, so I rate into them.
Yeah.
Try to get smaller creators at least to affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I rate out, I'll try and look for people that have a lower follower count
Mm-hmm.
and just rate into them and maybe try to help them out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to do it. And um, for folks who get those types of raids, when you got, what was the biggest raid you've gotten personally?
172 people
Yeah. So how did you
rated
handle it?
into me.
How'd you handle that one?
Well,
Did you faint?
initially it was really tough because I saw the raid, right? I didn't see how big it was.
Yeah.
And then I looked again and the number went from 6 people to 178 people. And I initially started to be like, oh my goodness, what the heck? Who are all these people here? And it took a while to get used to. But I was able to keep up with the chat, and then by the end of it,
Hmm.
I was able to keep about 40 of them.
Wow, that's good.
And I traded raid out to my friend. And the funny thing about that is I rated into her the second after I rated into her,
Hmm.
she ended stream because she didn't know.
Oh.
Oh, and then she called me up. She goes, no,
just,
why?
just 2 more minutes, and you would have gotten it.
You would have gotten all those people.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, it's a sometimes the raids are fool's gold in a way,
Mm-hmm.
in that you get that big number and uh, it could skew your averages, obviously. But
Yeah.
if you come back and you didn't get anybody to come back, um, you can't feel bad about that. I
Well,
know.
because how I look at it is when I rate into somebody, I try to give them the numbers, and it's kind of like they have to impress. Well, I'm probably like make people interested in them. Like
Yeah,
that's where
yeah,
their part comes in.
yeah, yeah, and it's and let's face it. I mean, if somebody you don't know is rating you, that audience is rating you doesn't know you either. It's not
Yeah, so you
it's not
have to get them to know
necessarily,
you.
yeah, they don't even you don't even really know that you're doing the same thing that they like. So if you get somebody out of that, that's good, and obviously you did. Um, and when you saw that the numbers stayed a little bit, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel like I was doing better because I used to have a lot of self confidence issues,
Mm-hmm.
and when I saw that so many people stayed after, whether it be lurkers or not,
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy because I didn't think I could keep that many people's attention as long as I did. Especially it was like 3.5 hour stream,
Wow.
and for 2.5 of those hours, I had like 100 people in the stream.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. After seeing single digits and suddenly triple digits or more, and they're staying there, you're like, okay. I would start getting the panic. Try to keep the three balls you're juggling up in the air at the same time.
Yeah, and there are points in that stream you can see I'm getting nervous because I'm trying to think of what to say. I want to be engaging.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of making like little boop 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 boom noise,
Yeah.
trying to because there's nothing to say. So I try to do something. I try to yap, just say something,
Yeah.
and I guess it worked. But
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'm trying so hard to say something about what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And the people who are there with you are like, what are they doing? What?
What are they making these random poo
Yeah.
poo noises?
Yeah. Are they having trouble? I mean, should we call 911 for them or something?
Oh yeah, no, it's something I do too. Like even now, if there's a game and it's really slow,
Yeah.
there's nothing happening, I'll just start saying a bunch of random stuff and just talk about random things. And if someone in chat joins in, I play off it
Yeah.
and then I just start talking about what they want to talk about. That's
Yeah.
how I do things.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned, doing some collaborations with some folks that are far away from you and being able to do it, has collaborating been easy for you, or was it tough to get started?
At first, it was tough because usually when you collaborate with someone, you don't know who this person is,
Hmm.
or the vibe. So over time, I kind of when I start collabing with people, I kind of ask them, hey, what kind of stuff do you do? What kind of vibe do you have? What kind of things do you not want in your stream? Just so that we're on the same page.
Right.
Initially, there was none of that. So either one of us was like, two forums, one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've come to realize, like, there's advice to new VTubers too. When you start trying to collaborate with people, one thing you should do is click on some of their videos just to like kind of get a feeling of how they are. And then if you want to contact them, ask them what kind of stuff do you like in your streams and what do you not.
Right.
That way, everyone's on the same page.
Right. And I would think that you don't want to change what you're doing either.
Yeah, you want to find that middle ground.
Yeah, because it's still your audience you're still catering to, and not their audience. And if they happen to like you, they'll stick around.
Exactly. And that's the point of collaborating.
Yeah.
Try to get connections, networking.
Yeah. And there are times where it just doesn't work. It just...
Yeah, there's sometimes you just don't get the vibe, you probably won't collab with that person again,
It's nobody's fault. It just doesn't...
Nobody's fault, it's just you don't click.
Yeah. It's like most of my dating experience when I was single. No, wait, that was my fault.
Oh, no.
But really, there's a chemistry that sometimes is there right away, and sometimes it's not, and you could have two extremely good people at what they do, and it just doesn't work. You hear it in music, you see it in movies, where two really good actors are in a movie, and the movie is terrible because they look like they just don't mesh. It just doesn't work.
Also, what's even worse is when you have actors, or like this can be applied to anything, that don't get along and they have to pretend to get along. On screen.
Yeah, and you can tell. You could
tell they just don't like each other.
Yeah, like this script is bad. This person is bad. I don't want to be here. Pay me my money so I can go home.
Yeah. And that does happen in the VTuber space sometimes, especially like with the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll collaborate with somebody and you don't get along, but especially if you're in an org or a corporation,
yeah,
you kind of have no choice.
Well, yeah. This, there's some folks who kind of go for the big or corporate things that go on, especially from Japan. You're not going to find over here very much.
Especially the idol culture.
Yeah, it's a very different sort of thing. Now, there are some folks over here, and I'll say this absolutely bluntly. I've tried to work with a couple of companies over here to get some of the talent on, and they are very strict and do not allow that to happen. That's their way to do things. Fine by me. It's no skin off my nose. But it still isn't quite the same culture as...
Speaking of VTuber groups...
Yeah.
I'm a co-founder of a VTuber group myself.
Yes.
VFauna is our group.
Yeah.
Annie is also in it.
Yeah.
And we just kind of a group of friends that decided to be under one name, and we kind of just have fun. We play with other VTubers. We have a server that has a bunch of people in there. We talk to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you have a bunch of people, especially if it's not corporate, because you can kind of like make it work and form stronger bonds that way.
Yeah. Yeah, support each other, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah, without, it's... The community doesn't need to be stepping on each other to do things. There's plenty of audience still to go around. There's not really a competition. And there's so much audience yet to grab and pull in that don't know what's going on yet. It's the potential is huge for the possible audience. So don't need to be worrying about this person is streaming the same game as I am. I should stop, or I'm going to try to do something to top them. There's no reason for that. Do your thing.
Yeah. With me, I just kind of play what I feel like playing, and then just, don't worry about the numbers, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And eventually, people will come to you.
Yeah. So if folks want to find out about VFauna, how can they do that?
They can DM me on Discord, or they can on Twitter. And even on my streams, if they ask about us, I can give them the Discord link to join the community server.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, we're going to have all the links for you in the description, and I'm sure if somebody gets a hold of you that way, then they can they can ask you a little bit more about VFauna and what it's all about.
Yeah.
And again, it's a lot of groups are just there for support and have a group together and aren't like multi-year contracts that you can't say certain words, that type of thing. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know if you heard that, but I've got a engine right next door to me that just went off several times.
No, I couldn't hear that.
Yeah, that's nice. Um, I hope that's an engine. No, I think it's actually rockets. Somebody shooting fireworks.
Oh.
Well, that's disconcerting. uh,
Oh, 4th of July was horrible to stream on.
oh yeah, and it's,
Every old people in the chat were like, "There's a lot of banging sound."
yeah,
Oh, that'd be fireworks.
yeah. I'm not getting swatted, folks. Really, I really am not.
It's like, chat, I'm fine. There's not a war happening. It's
Yeah.
just the fireworks outside.
Yes, it's just somebody went across the border to Indiana, bought fireworks, brought them back, and are shooting them
Oh,
off
yeah.
illegally. So, um, so what is your? Do you have a long-term goal for your channel right now?
My long-term goal for my channel is to like grow a community that likes to help other communities and is very caring, not just for like me, but for each other. More like try to help people, spread the love forward, as I call it. And try to like reach as many people and help as many people as I can, both other streamers and my chat. If they have issues, they can always talk to me, and I can listen if anything.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
and just give them maybe not solve the problems, but at least get it off their chest anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a great thing to have, and to have that as a goal to have your channel is my hat's off to you for that for putting that together. A lot of people do it for a lot of different reasons.
Even like your server, how like the interviews you got going.
Yeah.
I have on my VFauna server, I put it in the public part so that way people can reach out to you if they want to do so.
Yeah, it's for me. My server pretty much is basically for the guests I have on the show. So I don't really have it open, but the fact that people are using it to kind of meet and collaborate and do things with it, I'm over the top with. But there are also people on there who know what they're doing with servers and know how to act.
And that's the thing of like I try to make resources that I find available to everyone I can. I feel like everyone deserves the same kind of shot as I have.
Yeah, and if you give a person a chance and they take it and they enjoy it and then it's all worth it. And it sounds like to me you're really enjoying yourself.
Oh, I'm having a blast.
Yeah. Well, you keep going and you let us know what's going on, and we'll keep updating, and please keep us in the loop with what's happening with your channel.
Oh, I will.
Wow.
100%.
Reina Takahara, appreciate you coming on, and we'll get you again on soon.
All right. See ya. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.